All right, we are at the top of the hour, so we can kick things off. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this week's long coffee break. My name's Austin Whiteley. I am a sales rep out of our Fort Collins office. Today we have Jake Strawhecker. He is a application engineer for Daikin, and he focuses on water source heat pumps and unit ventilators. Today he is here to give a general overview of the unit ventilator product line. Jake, it's all yours.
All right. Thanks, Austin. So like you mentioned, my name's Jake Strawhecker. Been an application engineer here with Daikin up in Minnesota for a little over 6 years now. So covering all of our applied terminal systems products. And yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about our unit ventilator product and what we've got to offer today. So just a little outline, going to give you an intro to the product as a whole, and then our Daikin applied product overview. Talk about some of the key flavors, the key options with our unit ventilators. Got a phase and bypass option or a valve control option. Some of the control options we offer on those as well. We'll talk about some of the options and field mounted accessories you can order with them. And then lastly, we'll share some real live photos in the flesh. So let's get started. So first, just to point out a little bit about the history of the unit ventilator market as a whole. We are proud to claim being the market leader. The unit vent was actually invented by a gentleman named Herman Nelson all the way back in 1918. And you can trace our lineage as Daikin, McCoy, etc., all the way back to that original Herman Nelson brand. So you can see the photo there on the left showing one of the original unit vents, and you'll see how they've changed a little bit over the years. But we're definitely proud to still be a leader in that category. So some of the benefits of a unit ventilator system, why you might want that in your schools and classrooms. The nature of a unit ventilator is that it's always going to be bringing in outdoor air. So you're getting that ventilation to the space. Going to help keep kids alert, provide better indoor air quality. We all know that's been an additional focus over these past few years. They can also provide some free cooling by bringing in that outside air during cooler weather. In Colorado, I'm sure you guys can relate to that just as we can here in Minnesota. The zones can be individually controlled, so you're going to have a unit vent serving each space. So you don't need to have them running at all times. On average, we say that classrooms are empty approximately 50% of the time. So you don't necessarily want something that's going to be running at all times. You can go ahead and shut them down or phase them back into an unoccupied state when nobody's in there. And then also with a typical, at least a vertical unit vent system, it's only going to require some piping installation, going to take up much less space than a typical ducted system. So with a typical unit vent, you're going to have three main sections: your fan section, coil section, and then the economizer or the outdoor air section. And you can see over to the right kind of some of the different options that are available and kind of where they fall into play. So PSC versus EC motors, a variety of different heating and cooling coils available. And then, as I mentioned, that phase and bypass versus valve control, which we'll get into in a second. Then down in the economizer section, you're going to have your outdoor air coming in the back, your return air coming in the front, and then that linkage damper that's going to modulate back and forth depending on the need at a given time. We'll also touch on adapter backs later in the presentation. So there's kind of two main types of unit ventilators that we offer. On the left, you're going to see what we call our fan coil style. It is exactly what it sounds like. We offer those in the vertical or the horizontal ceiling mounted configuration. We also offer a self-contained unit vent, which is going to come with the compressor already in the system, a fully self-contained unit. And then even that comes in an air-cooled or a water-cooled flavor. So as I mentioned, you can get these in with either phase and bypass control or valve control. Over here on the left, you'll see right here is that phase and bypass damper that I'm talking about. and we'll show a photo of an actual unit with one here in a second. But typically, we see about 60-40 split as far as face and bypass over valve control. It's up to preference, but face and bypass is going to offer a little bit better freeze protection. You're always going to have your coils running at 100% capacity, so there is a little bit less risk of freezing in that configuration. And as I mentioned, this is just with the panel pulled off. You can see that modulating face and bypass damper assembly right here. It's going to swing back and forth depending on how much room air and how much outdoor air you want to allow in. So just to show a little bit of the guts and the options available on the fan coil style unit vent, we offer them in a range of sizes. These ones, the fan coil units are going to be sized by CFM, so from 750 all the way up to 2,000 on the horizontal models. And then you'll see the variety of heating coils and cooling coils we have available. As I mentioned, PSC versus ECM fans, and then we offer them in a variety of voltages as well. So digging in a little bit deeper to the coil options we provide, and I just want to mention, you'll see 1, 2, and 3 row here, and you'll see the options we have for the cooling coils as well. But either way, the maximum coil combination you can get is 6 rows. So that's important to keep in mind. But with the hot water coils, we offer a 1, 2, or 3 row. Also offer steam coils or electric heat coils. The important thing to note there with electric heat is that's only offered in the right-hand configuration. And then as you can see from the note, anytime you get a hydronic coil with one of our unit vents, a factory installed freeze stat is going to automatically be provided with that unit. And similar over here on the cooling coil, but we can go anywhere from 2 rows up to 5 rows. It is the same construction as the hot water coils. You can see just connections are swapped. Also offer DX coils, a VRV compatible coil, as well as a chilled water, hot water 2-pipe changeover coil. I mentioned the adapter backs earlier. We have a variety of them available. I'm not going to dive into each one here, but you'll get kind of a glimpse of just the number of options there are. And even if there was something that required a more custom configuration, contact your long sales rep. We can most likely do something to accommodate that. But these are basically going to accommodate a variety of different piping chases. You can see some are going to have an open pipe tunnel versus a closed pipe tunnel, variety of different depths available as well. And just to note, the 16 and 5/8, that is the standard depth of our unit vents. You'll see a few more on the slide here. As you can see, I mentioned the vertical or the horizontal configuration. Both are available in either face and bypass or valve control. Both are available in a reheat configuration as well. So depending on the need. Moving into the discharge arrangements, this is going to be for the horizontal style. You can see a few different options here as far as front discharge, down discharge, duct collar, knot. We should have something to fit whatever application you need. And similar on the return air arrangements, the reason we highlight number 25 here in red is that is recirculation only. So we always kind of caution that's not bringing in any outdoor air. So if you're confident there's never going to be any outdoor air required, you can go that route. But otherwise, we generally try to recommend looking at one of the other options, as it's most common to be bringing in some form of outdoor air with a unit vent application. Then moving into our self-contained models. So I mentioned either air source or water source. With the air source, you can see from this picture here, that is going to require a wall sleeve. It's going to require a little bit more infrastructure, a little bit more field work to install one of those systems. The water source we offer in a standard or geothermal configuration. So if you're familiar with water source heat pumps, it's going to be similar to what we offer on that side of things. And here you can see a glimpse of one of those self-contained unit vents, again, with the panel off. You might not even notice it at first, but this one actually does have an enclosed compressor section in here. So you'll notice that that end compartment is extended to accommodate the compressor. And then that compressor section is insulated since you're now adding a compressor into the space. So to help with sound attenuation in the classroom. And then again, showing the guts of the self-contained unit this time, you may notice a little bit different on the sizing methodology. We go to a BTU capacity sizing, again, similar to the water source heat pump side of things. So from 24 all the way up to 54 MBH, at least on the air source model. Heating coil is going to be a similar offering, again, hot water, steam, electric heat, and then PSC or EC motors, variety of voltages, etc. So moving into our controls offerings, you'll see three main categories here. There's our kind of all-inclusive factory installed Microtech controller. There's our digital-ready controls offering, which is kind of in the middle of the three, and then our field-mounted controls by others option. So again, I mentioned the factory installed, the Microtech controller, that is all-inclusive. The field-mounted is going to be everything done by the controls contractor in the field. We do give you the freeze protection monitoring, as well as an interface for a 3-speed motor, fan speed switch, if that's the option you choose. But you'll notice with the digital ready offering, we do go ahead and provide you these three sensors, the damper actuators, and the terminal strip wiring, which is going to make it a little easier for them to mount their controls in the field. Just a glimpse into that control section. This is for the factory mounted controls option with that Microtech controller. The unit vent Microtech controller does have onboard backnet. So you're going to get with that 3 different economizer control options. You also have the ability for reheat for active dehumidification control. And then there's an option to add a CO2 sensor in case you're wanting to do demand controlled ventilation. Moving on to the end panels. This is a popular topic. They are not automatically included, so make sure, and again, check with your sales engineer. They'll know how to order them, but they're not needed for all applications. So sometimes a unit vent is going to slide into some existing shelving, some existing framework, and you might not need the end panel. That's what it's going to look like if so. If you do need the end panel, we offer them in either 1-inch or 6-inch configurations. This is showing what the 6-inch end panel would look like. And that's typically recommended if there is going to be any like field mounting of controls. It's going to give you a little more space to work with. We do have a variety of different paint color options. On the left, these are going to be our standard paint colors for the unit itself. On the right, you'll see some of our paint color options for the louvers and the dampers. These are all going to come with 1-inch filters as standard. You have a few different options as far as filter type. We just want to mention if you are going to go with one of the MERV filters, we strongly recommend you go up to an EC motor just to handle the additional static pressure on the system. And that, again, is obviously a popular topic of late. I want to mention as well, we do have piping packages available. Those are always going to be shipped loose for field installation. They do ship in the unit end compartment. You can see you have a variety of different options there, 2-way or 3-way valve, etc. And then just to close, I wanted to show a few, any of you that have done any job site visits, to some classrooms that might have UVs. Maybe you've been getting complaints about airflow issues. This is some of what we typically see. They're not always respected as as HVAC equipment. Sometimes they're repurposed as shelving. So this one you got some plants hanging out on top. This one you got a little bit of everything. It's maybe no surprise that they might have had some issues there. So just a reminder, tell your teachers they are not for storage, they're for to keep you comfortable. And that is all I've got. So I will turn it back over to Austin for the prizes.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Jake. I appreciate you taking the time to give us a general overview of the unit ventilator product line. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Please jump on next week for Nick Bryan's presentation on mag bearing chillers with the new 515B refrigerant.